then you're really not free, are you? And this idea, oh, we could never learn to live without money, and oh, why would we? Hey, listen, if that's what God's telling you, which I don't believe God would ever tell anybody that, fine. Okay, it's just not that way, though. We got to wean ourselves off this. That's why I'm a true capitalist, because I think that would have been one way to do it. But we're so far removed from that now. I mean, we're in dire straits because, like I said, they're power drunk. They couldn't handle, they couldn't control themselves. And traditionally, look through history. This is what money does to the hearts and minds of men. It turns them corrupt. And we have wanton corruption in our land, vast corruption. And the hearts of men are wicked. And we're in a lot of trouble. And only God can help us. So we got to turn to God. Anything to turn this curse into a blessing. The only way it's going to happen is with God guiding us. Being honest, ruthlessly honest with ourselves and with others. I was talking about minimum wage and how the Labor Department's been utterly remiss in last week. But, to get to the point, the buying powers, let's see. A quick approximate calculation, early 60s, $1.25 an hour. The gross monthly pay, approximately after 160 hours, was about $200. But the worth was that you could afford, standard of living was a middle-class lifestyle and one person working in the family. You could live comfortably, be a homeowner, save a little, have disposable extra income to spend. So today, everyone would agree you would need at least $400 minimum gross monthly income, and that's only $48,000 annually to afford those same things minimally. That pay is $25 an hour minimum. So if minimum wage was actually kept up with inflation, the minimum would be somewhere around that. Okay, and in a lot of areas you just can't. You can't. Even $100,000 a year, you cannot be a homeowner. So I'm just giving people an idea of how this thing happens slowly, gradually, incrementally over decades. Okay, it's inexcusable. Give me one excuse why the Labor Department didn't every year without fail give a realistic, mathematical, commensurate cost of living adjustment minimum wage workers. This is theft in your face. That's what it is. Could you imagine if overnight they said, told people, hey, don't worry, you'll still make that same amount of money, but it's going to be worth, just a tiny fraction of that. So the buying power is going to be shot. What are you going to do then? You see, I bet that's what they've gotten away with over a long period of time. That's what they got away with. That's how they're stealing from us. When you think of just the vast number of jobs that are minimum wage or close to it, you see my point? How they're stealing our labor, stealing our wealth, stealing the wealth of the nation. That's what the monsters are doing. I mean, there's monsters are running the show. And we're in a lot of trouble. So I already talked about this Trump impeachment, but remember Maxine Waters? She's been wanting him impeached from day one. She was so mad about Hillary not winning. Yeah, that commentator I'm mad at on CBS Sunday Morning, this guy's used to talk about the greatest generation and people mocking it and people mocking baby boomers and all these achievements of the baby boomers. No, he's being totally disingenuous. He cannot be that stupid. I wonder if anybody else has ever been curious about why do humans live so long when we abuse ourselves so much, our bodies? All the poisons and toxins we take in, unnatural lifestyles. It's pretty amazing. Some animals live longer. Look at the tortoise, right? And some birds live a hell of a long time. I guess not as long as humans, but or turtles, but there is animals that live a long time. And then you think of some that live really brief lives. Like, I remember I asked at a zoo how long these lions live. I asked a zookeeper, and she told me that in captivity they live approximately 10 years, and in the wild they live only 5, because they're more pampered in captivity, I guess. But I was astounded that this majestic creature, the big cats, were living such short lives. It's astounding to me. Just weird. It's just a curiosity of mine. All right, my friends. I didn't have a lot to talk about with what's going on with recent current events. So same old, same old. The Trump impeachment is big in the news right now, but I find it quite boring for the most part. All right, so I'm going to get on to some thoughts I've had from the past couple of weeks. In my estimation, a person is a success if they are upright, decent human beings, doing their level best to exert their rights and responsibilities, to enjoy their lives, and work to leave this world just a little better for their brief visit. Those whom have the courage to dream as big as they wish, empirically knowing the sky is literally the limit of what they are capable of. While in fact we have bodies, it is vital that we understand we are not bodies. We are much more. We are heart, soul, spirit, and mind above all. Though the body may pass, we will live on forever. The prime reason it is so difficult for normal, godly people to effectively imagine any semblance of logic when it comes to understanding the machinations within the minds of madmen is because normal, right-minded people are utterly removed from ever succumbing to madness for any reason. Yet empirically, we see the madmen in action affecting our lives in an atrociously detrimental manner, as they have evidently abandoned all worth of conscience. Normal, decent people literally find that impossible to conceive of doing. Just because the things one values most are almost most important to attain and possess in no way guarantees one will possess said values. However, having right, proper, godly values is in and of itself a beautiful virtue to attain and possess. So I don't know if that was cogent, but I'm just trying to explain that, you can have great values, but it doesn't mean you're going to possess them. Sometimes we've really got to strive. We've really got to make a deliberative, concerted effort to attain really beholding those right values for a period of time before we really feel like we possess them. And it's a beautiful thing. At least, we start striving for right values, and God always has to approve those values. You want the right values, the right opinions on issues, right belief system and philosophy and credos, then you just turn to Him and He'll give it to you freely. You ask for something good like that, He's going to give it to you. That's wisdom, sound wisdom. You can take to the bank. He whom opposes the precepts of Martin Luther King Jr., then by default opposes the Constitution and the American way. So learn of his precepts. When we dehumanize another human being, we not only dehumanize ourselves, as we too are human beings, but we also, by extension, deify the Creator God Almighty, whom rightfully owns all human beings. The true path of least resistance is not in capitulating to an incontrovertibly corrupt worldwide money-based beast system, but rather adhering to our level best in conforming to God's will for our lives, for our existence. Father and mother, mother and father know best. Unless you created yourself, you don't own yourself. And who can say we created ourselves? We didn't. It's in not caring enough about one another, that is to say, not loving one another enough, that got us in this mess. As such, in light of this fact, we can logically deduce the answer to our problem. We must care enough. We must love enough. It's tough being human. We should remember it's tough for others being human too. This is referred to as empathy. If in your understanding of God you can find any fault regardless of the size of the fault, it is time to fire this pseudo-God and learn about the true God, the faultless God Almighty. Just because a person may not be secularly educated in no way makes them stupid. Friends, I think I'm going to end it there. And I'm kind of glad that our money-based unreality is on life support, and it's got to come to an end. And one way or another, we got to wean ourselves off this crap that we're mainlining because it's destroying the planet. It's not human beings destroying it with carbon dioxide, okay? But the money masters of misery are destroying it with tyranny. I wish the best to everybody. All the things I want for myself and my kids, I want for you and your kids. I love everyone, and that's it. There's no shortage of best, so God bless, and talk to you again, I hope.